All right, we are live for another episode. Welcome back to Marketing Without Rules, the show where we celebrate people who exemplify the hunter mindset. They make moves, they color outside the lines, and they have creative ways to channel the attention of their community into currency. This show is sponsored by Blue Crocus Solutions, a web design and SEO agency focused on helping home service companies. I am your host, Louis Vandervalk, and today I have the pleasure of chatting with Dallin Huso. Dallin started a home service company without any experience, and he grew it to 7 figures in 4 years. With over 15 employees now, he's continued to grow the business. The business has continued to grow and thrive while he is able to help other business owners achieve freedom in their own businesses. So I'm really excited to chat with Dallin today. We're going to have a good conversation, and you guys are going to be in for a treat here today. Dallin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, looking forward to chatting. We've got some interesting stuff to pull up. Give people like the Coles notes on your journey, bringing them up to speed on that 7-figure company that you started, and then we'll dive into some of the hard lessons that you learned along the way and how people can take some lessons from that.
Yeah. So goes back to when I was attempting to go to college. Did one semester online, hated it. Tried to go to one semester in person, and it was even worse. I was just kind of realizing that college and that, lifestyle of go get your degree, get a job, retire, was just not going to work for me. But I didn't know what else to do. Luckily, I had someone recommend that I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it.
Yeah, great book.
Yeah, so read that, and that really just kind of like blew my mind and opened my eyes to like the possibilities outside of just the rat race, as they call it in the book. And so, that's when I knew that I wanted to start a business. Didn't really know what I would do at the time, but I'm born and raised here in Arizona, where it is extremely hot all summer and all year round compared to everyone else. And everyone has a pool. So I grew up always having a pool and just had the thought, if everyone has a pool here, I'm sure that it's a service that's in demand. So got a job for a couple months, kind of just to get a feel for it. Had been around the industry in the past, but I really wanted to understand what I was doing. So got into that a couple months until I was comfortable with it. And then, just bought a pole and a net and a brush and started knocking doors. I didn't really know what I was doing at the time on like the growth and marketing side, but I invested as much of my time and energy as possible into like figuring out how to grow the business. And my, secret, I would say, is I was trying to get out of the field as fast as possible. I know a lot of people, they're like waiting till max capacity before they hire any help. But I was like, as soon as I can create a job, whether it's like part-time or full-time for someone, and take that time to put back into like figuring out marketing and figure that out, I'm going to do that. And so, that's what I did. 6 months in, hired my first person. Didn't go too well, but have learned a lot about the hiring process since then. Just continued to put people in the field and delegate tasks that I was doing so that I could focus my time on growing the business, which, luckily I have a passion for. That's kind of been the journey. Obviously been a lot of ups and downs, but that's kind of the shortened version of what's led us to where we are today.
Very cool. What happened with that first hire?
Oh man, just a lot of training, a lot of time and energy put into someone who just, woke up one morning to a text that he wasn't working for us anymore, and a lot of frustration with that. So
what do you do differently now for hiring to prevent those texts?
Oh man, we do a lot of things. We have like a screening process. We do personality tests really just for 2 things. One is to get an idea for who a person is. We might see some red flags. We're like, hey, this is like, the great thing about tests is like, it might not say you're a poor worker, but it could say you're poor for this position. Like, hey, you're just not fit for like the technician role. Like you're going to be miserable in this role. And so we can identify that really quick, but it also helps us to know like who's actually motivated to do something. Because if we say, hey, can you take this test? And they say yes. And we say, when can you have it back to us by? And they tell you Friday afternoon, and then they don't have it back to you by Friday afternoon. If they're doing that now, like that's the type of person they're going to be when they're working for you as well. So we just have implemented a couple things in the hiring process to help us kind of understand who they are. Because if you just ask questions, everyone knows how to give the right answers and tell you what you want to hear. So just figuring out a couple things to find the right people, to attract the right people. And then the other aspect of that I feel like has been super helpful for us is training them. just to take a little bit of ownership for that. I definitely look back on that first hire, and honestly the first few hires, and I definitely didn't set them up for success. I know a lot of business owners blame the employees and say there's no good work out there, but honestly I think such a big part of that is we're just not setting them up for success with the right training and education, and knowledge, and who do I reach out to, when do I reach out, having systems in place for them to know exactly what to do, how to do it. And so we've definitely implemented a lot of that, so new hires now have a lot better roadmap for how to do the job.
Yeah, I think I heard Dan Tell chatting with someone on a reel, and he was saying basically the guy was like, he had lost like $100,000 sale. The guy had sent over, his salesperson had sent over a $1,000 invoice instead of a $100,000 invoice. And the company, I think they paid it, and then they asked for a refund, and they're like, "We're out. If you can't, hit the details, then we're gone." And so the guy was calling Dan, who was his mentor, and he was like, "I'm so mad. This happened. What do I do?" And Dan's question was like, "Is it a people problem or a process problem?" And he's like, "Well, sales is an art and yada yada." And Dan's like, "No, it's a process." And that I heard that not too long ago, and I'm like, man, that speaks to the core of a few things that we're working through. And it's like, man, it's not, we've got great people. I just need to give them a better process. So there's a lot to be said there. Go ahead if you were going to jump in there.
Oh yeah, no, I was just going to say systems and processes have been huge for us, especially the last year or two. We've really tried to systematize every aspect of the business, even sales and marketing, which you might be like, it's just an art. You just have to know how to do it. But you have to give people step by step, here's what to do, here's how to do it. And that's really helped us. And it saves, as an owner, it saves you a lot of time too, right? Because the first step people usually do is call you if they have a question, and your time you just turn into the answering machine for everything. But if you empower your people and give them those systems, and they know if they have a question, the first thing they do is go to that and see what to do, and then come to you afterwards if they still have questions. Saves you a lot of time and headache.
For sure. To get practical here, what tests do you guys use for the hiring process? What are the actual tests that you use?
Yeah, there's a couple that we've kind of rotated between, and sometimes it depends on the position, because certain tests will give us different types of results. But the DISC test is one of our favorites to use. 16 personalities is a great one that we've used in the past, and the Enneagram test. And so just we'll send one or two of those tests and kind of just look at the results and go over it with them and say, hey, this is where you have chances to succeed. This is where you might struggle with in this position. What are your thoughts on that? And just kind of create a conversation around that. It's a lot harder for people to game a personality test than it is to it was you just ask them a question are you hardworking? Of course they're going to say yes, right? But some of those tests ask the question in a way where they don't know what's being asked, but it can tell them their personality still, which is helpful.
Are they paid tests? I forget.
Those are all free ones. Those are we've picked ones that are all free, so it's makes sense for small businesses to send to applicants.
Anybody can go out and do that.
Right.
So Dallin, what is your greatest weakness? I think that's the craziest question that's asked in job interviews.
Yeah, no, and it's funny.
My greatest weakness is actually my biggest strength, right? Isn't that the classic answer?
Right. Do the spin on it. My biggest weakness, I've got a couple, so just trying to pick which one I want to touch on.
Which one do you want the whole world to know?
Right, exactly. I get distracted very easily. I know a lot of people call it shiny object syndrome. So just staying focused on whether it's a marketing campaign we're doing or a current service we're offering. I'm always oh, what about this? Why don't we try that? Which is good to an extent. As a business owner, you want to have that curiosity and trying new things. But in the past, it's definitely hurt us as I've hopped around from thing to thing. So to add to that, I've added a person in our business that's really kind of helped ground me a little bit better. So I'm not always doing that, but that's definitely a weakness of mine.
The ops people save us visionaries, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, squirrel. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Let's get into the meat here. This is the show about marketing without rules, coloring outside the lines, doing the things that other people aren't typically doing or aren't willing to do. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that that I'd really like to chat with you about is power partners. What are they, and why should people pay attention to them, and walk us through the process?
Yeah, power partners for us has been one of the biggest aspects of our growth, especially, I know I'm similar to a lot of business owners where we didn't start a business with $100,000 in the bank to invest into paid ads and stuff right away. And people see our ads now and might have that assumption that we've always had this money to grow. But like first couple of years, I didn't have any money to put into to that. So I had to be creative and figure out, how can I grow the business without a bunch of money? And like,
that's when the best marketing happens.
Exactly. So yeah. And I kind of just stumbled across the idea of power partners because I was asking myself the question, like, okay, I need people to send me business. I need potential customers. So who knows my customers, right? Like who is also working with my ideal customer. So obviously the first step of that is understanding who your ideal customer is, which I think is a mistake a lot of business owners do. They don't know exactly who they're trying to target, which is a huge aspect of, of creating the best power partner relationships. But once you're clear on that, then it becomes a lot easier to identify people that are good power partners. So like for us, just to go through the process, I figured out that our target audience was families who were busy, who had a little bit of extra cash. They have a nice backyard, obviously, because they have a pool, and they're busy with sports, school, events, all these things going on. They value family time, and so they don't want to have to spend that extra time, on the weekend cleaning the pool when they could be spending time with the family or spending that time enjoying the pool, right? So that was kind of our target client. So I was like, okay, who's literally speaking to that exact same person? So a great example for us is a landscaper. If this family is, has that value and is willing to spend that money on their pool and they have that nice yard, they are more than likely to have a landscaper for that same exact reason. And so that's kind of step one of identifying that power partner who has the exact same, excuse me, the exact same target audience as you. And then it just becomes, a game of relationships and reaching out to people. Not everyone that you reach out to is going to be interested, but it's all about building value. I think that's the next mistake people make is we'll call a landscaper and be like, hey, send me a bunch of referrals. And like, even
can you walk us through? So let's say I'm Larry, the landscaper.
Yeah.
And you've figured out that I've probably got the same clientele as you.
Right.
Can we just go through like the process of what it would look like so that people kind of have a roadmap here?
Yeah, for sure. So, obviously find Larry first, right? Like figure out his phone number or email and get a hold of him, preferably phone number, like jump on a call with him, and introduce yourself. And usually I'll say something along the lines of, I love connecting with other great businesses that serve this ideal client. I'd love to learn a little bit more about what you do and see how we can help each other. At that point, I always offer to take them out to a drink or to lunch, and buy them something.
So you're planting that law of reciprocity right there.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. And then first thing is always see how I can build value for them first, right? So like, what do I have to offer to them? And a lot of people, especially new business owners, are going to think that I don't have any value to offer if you're not like a bigger business, but there's always something you can do. You can write them a positive Google review. You could connect them with someone valuable in your network. You could feature them in your email newsletter on social media. These are things you do if you don't obviously have a referral right away for them, which would be the ideal thing. But figure out how you can provide value to them. And if it's possible, figure out if you can offer your service to them or to someone that they're close to. Because the thing is, a lot of these people have, let's say Larry has 4 pool guys reaching out to him, saying that you should refer them. Well, how does he know who to refer? And how do you ease his nerves of, I don't want to refer, Pete, the pool guy, if he's going to upset my customer and now my customer is mad at me. So we always tried to offer, hey, can we clean your pool for you for, a month, just so you can understand our service and for free, right? Like I want them to know the experience that we're offering so that they're confident offering that to their clients.
Amazing.
Sorry, what was that?
I said amazing. Yeah, that's you've done a few things right there. You've called them. You aren't cold pitching, like, hey, we do pools. Like, tell us. You're like, hey, I want to connect with you. I'll take you out to lunch. I'll buy you a drink. I will come and clean your pool or someone you know's pool for free over the course of a month, just to show you what it's like. So you're not referring some rando to people that you have built a relationship with already.
For sure, yeah. Because otherwise, like I said, they're like, how do they know that you're going to do a good job? Because just like employees, like everyone's going to tell you they're going to do a good job, but if they experience that for themselves, then they're going to be more likely to tell their friends or tell their clients about it. And then, after you've kind of built a relationship, like a genuine relationship, then that's where you can talk about, this referrals, and you might have a referral program, you might offer a referral fee, you might have enough referrals for them where it's just this relationship where you send those referrals back and forth. But hopefully at this point, it is a genuine relationship where it doesn't feel so transactional. And it's just like, how can we help each other's businesses grow? And they love your service so much that they're wanting to do that, right? So it just creates this conversation of what can we do to send business back and forth. And yeah, doing that, like we had one landscaper that just sent us job after job after job because he was so happy with what we were doing for him, and he wanted all his customers to do it. And it creates great customers as well because the vetting has already been done for you, because they love Larry the landscaper. So they know whoever Larry refers is most likely going to offer that same level of service. And so we found that like those customers were a lot more likely to sign up and didn't have as many, hesitancies and questions. We didn't have to do as much follow up on the estimate. Like Larry told them that we're going to do a good job, and they trusted Larry. So as long as we're able to deliver on what we promise, it was just much easier to do that.
Yeah, they're warm referrals at that point. You're
Exactly.
not. I mean, even people that come into your website or give you a call, they don't have that warm referral. Like that's another level of referral warmth when it comes
Yep.
from Larry.
Yep. So
What? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying it increases the conversion rate, obviously, because it's being warm like that.
Massively. I think that there's a ton of value here, and I want to like get another level of granular here. So you're not involved in the business as much anymore. How do you continue to have the team go out there and continue to grow those power partners, or are you not doing that now that you've kind of grown to a good level?
We're still doing it. We've got a solid sales department now. And so that's kind of, and I still, go out and network. That's like the main thing that I still do day to day, is just, creating connections and relationships. But our sales team, we incentivize them, right? So if we have warm leads that we give to them, they get a certain commission. But if they create the lead on their own and generate that, they get a higher commission on that. So we have, a lot of opportunities and trainings for them on like what we just talked about. We have like trainings for them, right? So they know exactly how to do that correctly. And yeah, they are able to, get paid more on the job if they go out and create those relationships by themselves. And it creates residual income for them, right? Because if they create that relationship with Larry the landscaper, every referral that he sends over now cashes in on their commission check. So they're motivated to do that.
What do you do for commission percentage?
It depends because we have service, which is just like a flat fee, and then we have repairs, which is a little higher, so we have a percentage on that, and then we're just starting into like the remodel and new build world. But yeah, anywhere
going for the big leagues now.
Yeah, and that's creating more opportunities for our sales guys to make more money there. So just kind of depends on what the job is and if they're straight commission or if we have any sort of base for them. So a couple of variances, but we try to come up with something that makes sense for everybody.
That's phenomenal. Very cool. So power partners, to summarize, guys, this is a marketing without rules nugget. I've talked referrals before, but Dallin just broke this down super granularly. Like, go find a niche that's parallel to yours. Landscapers is actually a good parallel to junk removal. We work with a lot of junk removal companies. If you're a plumber, there's a bunch of different ones. Contractors, remodelers, all of these are parallel universes that are either working with your ideal client, or they may need you on the job as well to make it happen. So there's a lot of value there. Let's move to social media and how you've leveraged that to really start to grow. Well, you're past the starting to grow point, but when you were first starting, how you leverage social media to really start to make an impact for your business.
Yeah, and I'll be completely honest. When we first started using social media, that's one thing I wish I could go back and do differently. I tried to take the approach of coming off as like this well-polished, like, professional, established business, even though we were just getting started. And it hurt. It didn't help us with like the local feel that really helps, in my opinion, with like converting local customers when you're working with a local market. So it was all like professional photos, and I was not really a part of it, and I was trying to stay in the background as much as possible. And so like our feed looked really nice, but we were not really getting much work.
The connection wasn't there.
For sure. Yeah, there was no reason for people to like want to like, they'll like a picture if they see it because it looks nice, but like we weren't creating engagement and creating community. yeah, fast forward a couple of years and had a mentor just like push me, like, you need to get on camera, you need to be, in front of them and introduce yourself and like, and create like that raw, authentic content.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, finally it was just like, what the heck? Like, it can't hurt, right? Cause it's not helping us at all. So it can't be worse than what it's doing right now. And so, yeah, as soon as we started doing that, we really started to see some success from it. And it's interesting because, right, we might get a client here and there from social media, but it's really acted more as like, it's almost like a modern day website, I feel like, where instead of like going to check if you have a website, people will go and like look you up on social media to see if you're active, see if you're legit. And we have people all the time where, they mention they heard about us from somewhere else or they contact us from somewhere else, but they always mention our social media and they were impressed with what they saw. And it definitely helps with our conversion rates. And like I said, just creating that like local vibe is the best way to put it, has been super helpful for us as well.
So what's like actionable tips that someone could take away to create that local vibe? And I have no idea what's going on with my camera. It feels like I'm falling down, but it keeps moving. It keeps moving it the focus down, but we're still here.
Yeah. No, great question. Actionable tips. I would say we try to rotate between a couple different types of content for people, because what we don't want to do is be on like one side or the other. And what I mean by that is like the sales or the education side, where if like that's all you're seeing, and let's be honest, like most of us are on social media for entertainment. Like if all you see is like, oh, here, like he's talking about chemicals again, he's teaching me how to clean my pool, he's telling me about his offer again, like you're just end up scrolling by that, because when you're looking at your phone at 11 o'clock at night and you're laying in bed, like that's not what you really want to see. But on the flip side of that, like, okay, are you going to hire your pool guy because he's doing these funny dances all day? And so really we've tried to find a balance between creating entertainment content, which helps with awareness, and then nurturing our clients with educational content. And more of that like behind the scenes, like local sort of stuff we talked about, where I introduce myself as the owner, talk about the brand story and why we got started, do that.
So that would be a lot of video then, what I'm
correct.
hearing.
Yeah. Most of it's video now, and nurture them that way. And then just like a very, very small amount of, sales, like letting people know about a special offer that we're doing, discounts, talking about the lifestyle results that our service provides, but keeping that to a minimum and focusing, like I said, mostly on the awareness side with like some fun entertainment content here and there. And then, nurturing our current audience with those behind the scenes sort of videos, and education videos.
Amazing. Yeah. Social media. Well, here's a question. Were you ever like hesitant to do that? I know you said you were pretty polished at the beginning. You had to be pushed to kind of go a little bit more unpolished, but like, was it ever hard for you to get on video and kind of be more involved there?
That was why I was hesitant, because that was a main reason why, other than, the polish aspect, but I was just super nervous myself to just be on camera and do that.
I love that you said that, because I think everybody needs to hear that.
Yeah.
I've told this story before, but like, I've been podcasting since 2020, and the first year and a half, 2 years, like I would be sweating bullets before I sent the link to someone to jump on while I was in the podcast. Like it was such a nerve-wracking process for me,
right.
But the relationships I've built make it like so worth it. And then I'm just so much more comfortable chatting now. It's actually like really improved, at least from my perspective. It's certainly improved my comfort level. Whether it's improved the delivery, it has yet to be translated to me, but I'm way more comfortable doing it. And I think you just get more comfortable as you do it. I guess I would put it back to you. Are you more comfortable doing the video now that you've been doing it?
Yeah, for sure. I was same thing as you, like so nervous first time I was going to be on camera, stumbled over. It's like, I feel like I talked normal, but as soon as the camera went on, I was just stumbling over my words. I had to do so many tips or so many tries. And yeah, it was just, it might not have seemed awkward to other people. I don't know. But to me, like the videos were so awkward, but you just have to go and do it and just accept the fact that the first few are not going to be perfect. But I don't think people are expecting that either. And then the more like, I'll just pull out a video and like record a video that I post on our account, and I don't think anything of it now. It's just second nature. But you just have to start it and get started on it, and it'll get easier over time.
Yeah, I think I was looking at our YouTube channel. I mean, it's almost 700 videos on our channel now that I've done, including like the
Wow.
live ones for podcasts. Like
Yeah,
that's a lot of reps, and it feels like it
exactly.
took like half of those to even start to get comfortable. So Hermosi says like everybody's got 100 bad videos in them, so you just gotta get the
Get the
reps
bad
out,
ones out, right? Yeah, get as
get
many
those
out so
100.
you can get the bad ones. Yeah, because people see, people might see you now at your level of podcasting and be like, oh, I can't start a podcast because I am not that comfortable, not that skilled. But it's like, maybe if they go back to your first video, which they'd see a whole different person potentially. So it's the same thing. Like
Man,
people see,
I should do that. I haven't looked at that video for probably 4 years. I
yeah,
should do that. That'd be fun. That'd be fun to see the growth.
right.
Let's talk through, so growing a business, the pool company, to 7 figures. Not many people in the home service space get to that level. What tell us like your worst experiences through that process, because I
Ooh.
think it humanizes us as business owners. We've got oh, he's amazing, he got to 7 figures, and then a lot of us don't pay attention to, okay, it was a grind, and we're just like shooting for that 7 figures,
Right.
and we think it's going to solve everything, but
Right.
having been there and hit that target, it's not all it's cracked up to be when you get there, but
Yeah.
it's also like, to get there you have to go through levels as a business owner,
Yeah.
and bring us along on the journey for a couple of those.
Yeah, dude. So quite a few things. One of the mistakes I made was like not understanding, because the way I'm a visual learner. So the way I visualize business now is there's like four main aspects or four foundations. You've got your marketing, which is, finding people; sales, which is convincing them to work with you; operations is actually providing whatever product or service you're doing; and then finance is getting paid for that service. Once that's taken care of, then you've got your leadership and management, right? It's like, it's fine tuning those things, making sure it's held accountable, tracking things, setting it up for success. And then you go to scale and take all those things that are working and continue to grow. And a mistake that I made and a lot of people make is, I think, trying to jump to scaling the business before you've got those foundations figured out. And so I had our operations, in my opinion, pretty fine tuned, but like not the other aspects of the business. And I was trying to like scale it, and I was wondering why we were having issues. And it was because I hadn't really, fixed the rest of those foundations. And so that's one lesson. That was one hard lesson that I had to learn along the way, and wasted a lot of time and money, trying to grow and falling flat time after time and trying to figure out why. I also, to be completely honest with you, like I experienced a little bit of burnout a couple of years ago. And yeah, before I had kids, obviously I was able to work, all day and all night. Yeah. And I was working from home, and it's very easy I would just wake up and pull out the laptop at, 6 or 7 in the morning and start working. And just, if my wife was at work or gone, I would just like work all day and all night. And it's fun for a while, right? Like I was super motivated to grow the business, but like after all these issues that every business owner goes through, you have to like set expectations and set priorities for yourself and create time for yourself to not be, all in on the business at all times. Cause yeah, there was a period of time where I was like really struggling to stay motivated for growing the business. And it wasn't until I, surrounded myself with like a mentor and a community that kind of helped me get out of that. But yeah, that was a tough lesson to learn as well.
Life is balance. There's no work-life balance. I think, there's seasons, and you go hard in some seasons,
sure.
and you pull, we're always focusing on something.
Right.
You might be focusing more on your family or your life. You might be focusing more on your work, but yeah, it's important to listen to where things are going. Love it. I'm gonna take this opportunity to let you talk a bit about what you do, because you have grown your business, taken some of those lessons and whatnot. Talk a little bit about how you can help business owners, who are scaling to that 7 figures, having kind of been there, done that. But talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was never like a plan of mine, to be completely honest with you. I was growing the business, and I don't think I mentioned this, but like a little over 2 years in, I was out of the field completely and just kind of working, from home. And my wife and I, we actually ended up moving to Hawaii for a little bit. And when we did that, I just started to have like a lot of people reach out to me like, hey, I noticed you have, been able to grow your business pretty quick. Like what'd you do to grow? How are you able to get out of the field? Stuff like that. And so I just kind of naturally started like sharing advice on that. And yeah, the bigger we grew, obviously, the more people started reaching out, the more I started doing that, and really realized how much I enjoyed doing that. And I think that's a secret of business that people forget, that I probably should have mentioned as well when you asked that question. But like, the purpose of growing and scaling a business isn't just to be like, oh, look at me, I've got a big business. Like, it should be so that you can focus on the things that you love doing, that you're good at doing, and being able to like hire and delegate the rest. Right. So that's what I've been able to do with Flamingo Pools. I've grown it to where marketing is kind of like what I'm super passionate about. And so that's kind of my main focus in the business. But it's also freed up my time for other things that I love. And so I've really found to, enjoy working with newer business owners, or business owners that are, struggling to get over that hump, but figuring out how to grow, and just kind of teaching them the things that I did, but in a much faster way, because they can avoid some of the mistakes that I made. And so, I started doing that. And last year kind of realized how much time I was spending just kind of doing it for free. So kind of decided to turn it into something bigger. And over the past year, kind of have developed a super cool community. And that's probably my favorite part of it, because we do work with people one-on-one, but I believe that winning and a positive mindset is contagious. And so if you surround yourself with other winners and other like-minded people that are trying to do the same thing as you, like, we don't all have to be pool guys or all have to be landscapers. Like, we're all are focused on the same thing of growing our business and creating a positive life for ourselves and for our families. And like, surrounding yourself with those sorts of people as an awesome thing. And it's created so many cool opportunities for me to meet new people and be, a part of that community.
Love it. Yeah, definitely check out. We'll have links to what you're doing in the description, but check out what Dallin's doing. Let's take it back to marketing. Let's hit people with a few nuggets before we finish up here. If you had everything nuked, you still had all your knowledge, but your whole business was just it just disappeared. What would you do outside of Power Partners to get things off the ground as soon as possible, as quickly as possible?
That's a great question. Yeah, because my initial answer would probably be...
I took your main one there.
That's an awesome question. I don't think I've ever been asked that before. I would... I think the biggest thing, I'm sure you're just wanting like one answer, right? Just one thing that I would do.
Go for it. You can ramble. You can take people on a journey here.
Yeah. Okay. I might ramble, but I think
again, guys, a lot of these, I'll give you a second here to think while I chat with people. But I tell almost every guest that the conversations we have here, I've got some things on my list that I like to hit, or some things that I might want to ask someone particularly. But oftentimes it's just questions that come to my mind. And so Dallin was not prepped with this, so you're getting it straight from his noggin. So go for it.
Okay. Yeah. I'll try to not ramble as much as possible. I think a big issue, because especially as I've been working with business owners, and they're not as busy they want to be, but like, they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. And it's like, there's just not enough people that know who you are and know that you exist. Like, I think that's a big reason why a lot of people go out of business, is it's just obscurity. Like, no one knows who you are. They don't know how to reach out to you. So like, I would just find as many organic things I could do to get my name out there. I will go, like I said, create as many social media platforms as possible, even if you're not super consistent on all of them, but just having the platforms up there. I'm going to add as many people as possible. I don't think people realize this, but like, go search your city on Facebook and add all those people as friends. And then as you post on your Facebook business account, like, share that to your personal account. And now all these people are seeing it, right? Like, I can add 20 people a day. So in a little over a week, or less than a week, I can have 100 new people with eyes on the business. You can go join Facebook groups and post in there. There's local groups with 10, 20, 30,000 people in them, and even smaller niche groups, which can be even better. And you can post in those groups once a week. And that's free exposure. You can go freaking, knock doors. It's not always the most effective thing, but like, if you don't know what to do, like, go hand out some flyers, go let people know who you are, put out some signs, do send out like a mass email to anyone that and create like a super cool referral program, I think, is another huge thing. Like, you don't have any clients, but as soon as you get that first one, like, create something super incentivizing that they're going to want to, get their neighbor to sign up to. And then if you can just kind of catapult that, I think just getting out there, social, in person, find as many free networking events as possible that you can go to meet new people. And you can't always go into those thinking, all these people should be using me, but think of the people in their circle that they could potentially refer to you. So just like going to things, getting people to like, know, and trust you. in your services, and they might not, Power Partners is different, but like just a simple networking, if they trust you and they really like you, there's a good chance that they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm sure he's going to offer a good service. So next time, my friend has an issue with their pool, he might come to mind. But then you have to be active, like for you to come to mind. Like you can't go to this networking meeting and then 6 months later expect them to remember you. So it's all about consistency, I think is how I'll kind of wrap that up. Like find out as many organic things you can do and be realistic with yourself, but say, how consistent can I be with this? Like if you just go and join all these Facebook groups and post once in them, you're going to be frustrated that you spent all this time finding the groups and then nothing came from it. But figure out, your schedule and how much time you can set aside and commit yourself to being consistent daily, weekly activities that you can do over time. That's going to start off slow, but lead to big growth in the long run.
I love where you went with that. I think the social media stuff is incredibly powerful. People overlook what you can literally reach so many people just by sitting at your desk or on your couch, or
Right.
you could be in bed, as you're falling asleep. But as a business owner who's starting out and you don't have the people knowing you, you need to get people seeing you. And I'll just summarize by kind of giving the bullet points from what you said, because I love it so much. And we did this when we started our junk removal company. It's get on Facebook, start posting, reach out to all the people in your contacts, tell them what you're doing and ask them if they know anybody that could use the service. Go on the Facebook groups, add value or do giveaways. Don't just come in saying, hey, I clean pools or I do junk removal or whatever it is that you do. Add value, do giveaways, create a buzz, comment on different things, get in there, make it happen. I'm straying from the bullet points a little bit here, but you have a massive tool, and there's never been an easier time to connect with your community than through social media. I love the door hangers idea. I think there's something about getting out and actually putting in momentum forward as you're walking around. It gives you time to think too about all the different things you could do, because you're just kind of walking around doing it. But love that answer, Dallin. Great stuff in there. And if you guys just do one of those things consistently,
right,
you will see results.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. Anything else you'd like to leave people with that we didn't cover, or that is like an add-on to something that we did cover?
I think the consistency is huge. Like it can be overwhelming to hear 20 new ideas for marketing, but be realistic with yourself. See how much time do I have for this, and just be super intentional about setting that time aside to do it. But like you said, like with the internet, with phones, it's so powerful. Like I can be sitting on the couch at night, and in 10 minutes I can go, follow a bunch of new people, or send out a direct message to people and just introduce myself or introduce the business. Like it doesn't have to be, you don't need to have 3 hours a day. If you do, like that's awesome, that's great, you're gonna just help with the growth. But whatever it is, just be super intentional and commit to being consistent, whether it's one of those tactics we talked about, or whether you take 10 of the things that we just talked about. Just be consistent with whatever you're doing, and it'll take time at first. Like you're going to want to give up a couple weeks in when you're not really seeing results, but the consistency is key when it comes to marketing.
Yeah, I'd say try and give yourself a time horizon of 90 days at a minimum.
Yep, for sure.
Say, okay, I'm going to commit to being active in the groups for 2 hours a day. You have more time than money typically when you're starting.
Exactly.
So get out, get in there, be active. Here's something that you may find this interesting to take back to your clients. When we started, and I don't know if I've chatted about it on the Marketing Without Rules podcast. When we started Integrity Junk Removal in 21, one of the things that I did is I did giveaways. So Facebook giveaways, I kind of alluded to it when I was doing the recap there.
Yeah.
And I would go to restaurants and ask them to give me a $50 or $100 gift card. And what I did is I scraped a list from D7 Lead Finder, and I put it into Woodpecker, which is a great platform for this because you can do some follow-ups and stuff. I've got a blog post on this too if anybody wants this, and I'll link it in the show notes and everything. But I would do that. I just blasted like 200 restaurants saying, hey, we're starting here. We're awesome. This is what we do. We're really looking to support community. We'd love to feature you in a giveaway. So they would comp the $50 to $100 gift card. We would then do a giveaway, partnering with them, sharing it out on all the socials. But that was a great thing that we could share into groups without being, kicked out for, spamming our business.
Right.
I would also boost the posts, usually $50 to $100. So I'm spending $50 to $100. They're spending $50 to $100. And then it drove like crazy amounts of traffic to our website because people are like, who is this? What's this company doing? And then we got tons of action in the groups. And we typically did it so that you'd have to comment if you wanted to be entered in the giveaway.
Yeah.
So if you shared that into a community group, every time someone comments, it drives it back up to the top of the discussion feed. And so your stuff is just always there.
Yep.
So little nugget to take away. I found it really fun. I think that there's something really energizing. It's certainly something that I love doing about interacting with the community in that way. So just another something, but to circle back to something Dallin said, it can be overwhelming to hear 20 different things. Pick one or two and just like commit to go all in on them for 90 days. And then, complain that it doesn't work.
Yeah. Then come, leave a negative review on this podcast.
No, just kidding. Yeah. Be the first negative. You can leave it. If you commit to it for 90 days, pick any of the things we've talked about here. This is my challenge to you guys as listeners. And you come back after 90 days and you've consistently done that, leave a negative review. I'll jump on and we'll have a chat. I'll even bring you on the podcast to talk about it. There's no way that you won't get results in 90 days.
That's so funny. Yeah. And just to touch on the giveaway, as soon as you said giveaway thing, I was going to add another aspect of it, which you did is that we've done a lot of giveaways, but the best ones are the ones where you leverage someone else's audience as well. Giveaways are just one of many ways to leverage other people's audiences. But yeah, like find a restaurant that's super popular in the area. And like you said, they comp the gift card and you're both you're doubling your reach essentially with their audience. So just getting
you could be multi-xing your reach because you're new. And right. If people love food, people love, the community, it can be a massive reach for you.
Yeah. And restaurants are usually cool with that because it's exposure for like, they're willing to comp the gift card because it's good exposure for them. So it's an awesome, and it doesn't have to be a restaurant either. It could be some other local business that
I chose restaurants because I saw so many Yeti cooler giveaways flop because it's like it only appeals to like a very niche market of like wives that have husbands that like that, or some wives like it, but it's kind of like a guy's thing. And I was like, women tend to be more active on social media as a whole, and they like food, and they probably want to go out on a date with their significant other. But everybody likes food, old, young, male, female. So, but don't leave us hanging there, Dallin. You said there's many ways to leverage someone else's audience. Give us a few more.
Yeah. Another way is like someone's email list, like a company that's been in business for a while has most likely built up a solid email list of, a couple thousand clients. So if you can create something where they're either giving you a shout out or mentioning some sort of offer or discount you're doing, that's a great way to reach a whole new group of people. Again, I'm always going to talk about social media. Like the awesome thing with Instagram now is being able to collaborate on a post. And so whether you post or they post it, you just collaborate. So it's showing up on their feed. So now all their followers, it doesn't have to be a giveaway. They can see the post and see what special offer you're doing, is another cool way to get into someone's audience. And then just like connecting with people, back to the landscaper analogy, if there's a landscaper or if there's a bunch of landscapers in your area that you know of, like go to their socials, see who's following them, just go follow them. And it's just going to create some awareness for you in your business for people that most likely are interested in your services as well.
Give an example of an email list. I really like that idea. Haven't thought of that one. Obviously, like it's one that I think about in the agency space. I see people doing that. I see e-commerce people doing that. But I certainly haven't thought of that for a local business. I really like that idea. Do you have a specific example?
I had a buddy that did it, a pest control buddy, and him and another pool guy just collaborated on it. And so the pest control guy had been in business for a really long time and had a huge audience, and basically just sent out an email blast to a couple thousand people saying, hey, we partnered with this pool company. We, both have a lot of the same values. We both offer, similar quality work, and just created some sort of special offer. Like if you sign up with their services, your next month is, I don't know what it was specifically. It was like 50% off or a free month of pest control. And then they also get like their first month free of the pool service as well. So come up with some sort of joint offer, create an offer that they can't refuse basically. And just, leverage someone else's more established audience.
That's super cool. Now give us an example of the Instagram one. I like that idea as well.
Yeah. So Instagram. So again, like find another local company in your area, and you could do some. Do you
have like an actual example that you could like kind of walk through one that you've seen or?
Yeah. We did one a little bit a couple of years ago. And I guess, I don't know when this is getting released, but Valentine's Day is coming up. So that popped into my head, but like did a and again, pest control company, just did a special offer where it's like, Valentine's Day special. Get your pool cleaned, and we'll, similar offer, but just a different way of presenting it. Get your pool cleaned, and we'll discount your next month, 50% on pest control. And we go take a picture together, in front of a pool, and he's got his pest gear, so it's just looks like a collaboration. It gets posted to both our audiences, and
That's
just
cool.
doubles your.
I feel like there's so many double entendres here that we could go with. Clean the bed bugs out before Valentine's Day or something with the
Yeah,
pest
no,
control.
that's funny about marketing. Like, you can have fun with it too. Like, be creative, figure out a business you can collab with, that you can have some sort of fun, photo shoot or quick video that you make with someone. And yeah, just make it fun. That's what marketing is all about.
That is what marketing is all about. Make it fun. It has to be fun. Well, I certainly enjoy it.
Yeah.
If you don't enjoy marketing, find someone that does, because it's such an important part of your business.
Yeah.
But it can be fun. It can be very, man, I just freaking love the community stuff, because you can become a small town hero. You can become, I had a guy on the podcast a few weeks ago, and he's basically like, you should be aiming to be the mayor, like as popular as the mayor in your town.
Yep.
He worded it a bit better than that, but like, you can be everywhere. You can be omnipresent. You can be that benevolent, St. Nicholas of your community. And there's so much power in that, and people rally behind those stories. People rally behind those values and whatnot. So
Yeah,
that's awesome. Some really good nuggets there.
It doesn't have to cost $1 million to do that.
It can be free.
Right.
Sometimes that's, I mean, going to junk removal, especially, is a big one here, or plumbing companies with cool wrapped vans. I imagine probably the pool company. Do you guys have wrapped vans?
We got pink trucks, so pretty.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
So like touch a truck events is like a really cool community thing, or trunk or treat, like different things like that you can be doing in the community. We're working on a couple cool things for clients where, they can have a coloring book of their business and take it to like a trunk or treat or touch a truck and give it out to kids, fun. Stuff like that. Cool. So yeah, it's marketing's, that's what this podcast is about. Is there's no rules to it. Make something that resonates with your audience, resonates with your ideal client. You can do whatever you want. You could sit on the corner of a street and twirl a sign, and it could be effective in the right market and for the right service.
Yeah. And it's like, that might work for someone, but might totally flop for someone else. So it's like really understanding your market and your target audience, and what they're going to like. The coloring book, that's such a cool idea. I have no idea if it would work for. It might be a good idea for my target audience, but someone else. Yeah, right. Yeah. It might not for someone, but it's just like testing things out, really understanding, putting yourself in the shoes of your target market, figuring out what they're gonna like and be attracted to, and just experimenting, having fun, and like you said, don't follow any rules.
Color outside the lines, get creative, figure out how to turn attention into currency.
Yeah.
Well, Dallin, this has been fun. Thank you for coming on. Where can people find you? Both the pool company, we'll drive some traffic over there, even though it's not going to be local necessarily, but it'll be a good backlink for you. And then also the coaching. How can people get in touch with you for that and see what you're all about?
Yeah. So if you want to check out Flamingo Pools and kind of what we've done with the business, our website's azflamingopools.com if you are local. But if you just want to check us out on social media, it's Flamingo Pools on Instagram, and same with TikTok and Facebook as well. If you want to connect with me, I love connecting with anyone, but if you are interested in working together, more than happy to have a chat about that. My Instagram is Dallin the Pool Guy. I'm sure you'll have a link for that as well that people can check out. But feel free. I'm always posting educational content. So even if you're not looking for something serious one-on-one or that community, you can always give me a follow for some content or advice on growing the business, because I'm always active there.
Love it. Appreciate you, man. Guys, to wrap up, make sure that you pick something from this episode and you do it, and you do it consistently. Again, I put out the challenge there for the 90 days. I will honor that. Give us a negative review if you don't get results, because I'm so confident. The other thing is, speaking of reviews, I haven't asked this consistently, but if you guys could share this podcast out, share this episode wherever you listen to it, review the show. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, all the normal places. But that would be incredible for us to help to continue to grow the show, get more awesome guests like Dallin on here, and just to help change the world. That's ultimately the goal here with this, is to give someone a nugget that they can take action on and grow their business. So we'll see you guys next time, and keep marketing without rules. Talk soon, guys. Cheers.